Hello YouTube, we're on the Rail Programming channel. I'm its host, my name is Andrei, I greet you, welcome. This is our 34 lesson, we are talking about HTML, PHP and MySql. We are talking about topic, how rows in table uniquely identifiable. So let's go talk about this. And for a start, joke. The problem is that there are multiple rows in the table, but no way to distinguish them from each other without a way to isolate them individually. Any delete we try to do is delete all of them. Joe. Here is Frank, Jill and Joe. Joe, maybe our email form should check for a duplicate email addresses before adding new users. That would fix it, right, Frank? Excellent idea. Jill, yes, that would solve the problem moving forward, but it doesn't help us deal with duplicate email addresses that are already in the database. Frank, right. What if we try to use different column in the table to delete the extra rows, like last underscore name Jill? I wondered about that, but using a last name is potentially even worse than a mail address. What if we wanted to delete someone named John Smith from our mailing list and we run the following SQL code? Delete from a mail underscore list where last underscore name is equal with Smith. Joe, we wouldn't just delete John Smith from our table, we'd be deleting Will Smith, Maggie Smith, Emmett Smith, Frank. Wow, that wouldn't be good. Last names are more likely to be common across rows than email addresses, and first names would be even worse than that. We could lose dozens and dozens of rows with one simple query. Jill, exactly. We can risk using a where clause that will delete rows we need to keep. We need to be certain we can pinpoint just the ones we want to remove. Joe, so what the heck do we do? We can use my last name or first name in our where clause. Frank, where out columns in our table to use? Looks like we're out of luck. Jill, not necessarily. What we really need is something to make each row of table unique, then we could point rows without any trouble. And just because we don't currently have a column that has a unique value for each row doesn't mean we can't add one. Joe, a new column? But we already decided on our table structure. Frank, but what we have got isn't meeting our needs. You're right that it would be better if we had realized this beforehand, so we could have designed our table accordingly, but it's not too late to fix what we got. Joe, okay, but what would we call our new column? What data would we put into it? Jill, well, since its purpose would be to uniquely identify each row in the table, we could call it identifier or maybe just id for short. Friend, nice, and we can fill it the ID column with a different ID number for each row. So when we execute our delete, we'll be removing rows based on a unique name, the number instead of an email addresses or surname. Joe, exactly. It's really a great idea, isn't it? I'm so glad I thought of it. The rows should be uniquely identifiable. Part of the whole idea of sticking something in a database is that later on you'd like to look it up and do something with it. Knowing it is incredibly important of each row in a table to be uniquely identifiable, meaning that you can specifically access one row and only that row elements email underscore list table names makes a dangerous assumption that email addresses are unique. That assumption works as long as no one accidentally subscribes to the mailing list twice, but when they do, and they will Their email addresses gets stored in the table twice, no more uniqueness. What Elmer's table contains now? Nothing in the structure of the table guarantees uniqueness among rows. And while most is unique, we can't count on that always being the case. So some here we can't count on unique last names, and more than one person can have the same first name, so this isn't a good choice for a unique column. When you don't have a column of trial unique values in a table, you should create one. MySql gives you a way to add a unique integer column, also called a primary key, for each row in your table. What Elmer's table should contain? We need a new column that contains a value that is unique for every row in the table. Now that this column contains a unique value, we can be sure that every row in our table is truly unique. Duplicate data in other columns no longer affects the uniqueness of rows because the UID column takes care of that. So, hey, genius, you know, if we want to make a change to the table structure, we have to do a drop table and then recreate it from scratch. Elmer's email data will be toast. It's true, that drop table would destroy Elmer's data, but MySql has another command that lets you make changes to an existing table without losing my data. It's called alter table, and we can use it to create a new column without having a job to drop the table and destroy its data. Here is what the general format of an alter table statement looks like for adding a new column to a table. Let's look on Sublime Text. And you can download this code in Sublime Text and description under this video. Google link and Sublime link. So, the name of the table to be altered, the name of the new column to be added, the data type of the new column. We can use the alter table command to add a new column to the email_list table, which will name EID, will give the ID column a data type of int, since integers work great for establishing uniqueness. Some other information is also required, as this code reveals. The name of the table that we want to alter. We want to add a new column which we call ID. The data type of the column makes it an integer. In this tells the MySql server to add to the value stored in this column for each new row that is inserted. First, that tells MySql to make the new column first in the table. This is optional, but it's a good form to put your ID column first. This little chunk of code tells MySql that your ID column is the primary key for the table. More on that in just a sec. This alter table statement has a lot going on because primary keys have to be created with very specific features. For example, not no tells MySql that there must be a value in the ID column. You can never leave it blank. Auto increment feature describes the traits of the ID column by causing it to automatically get set to a unique numeric value when a new row is inserted, as its name suggests. Auto increment automatically adds 1 to the last ID value used in a row and places this value into the ID column when you insert a new row into your table. Finally, primary key tells MySql that each value in the ID column is unique, but there's more to it than just uniqueness. Primary keys enforced uniqueness. We will talk about this in the next lesson. And here is our 34 lesson about HTML, PHP and MySql is over. Thanks for watching, subscribe to my channel and please put likes, share with friends with comment. Eat bananas, do exercise, drink more water for the brain, meditate and so on. That's all, thank you. Bye.